Ever heard of Genshin Impact? Well, today, we're making one of their dish.
It's a reward for helping me clear out that Hilichurl camp.
Hey! Why doesn't Paimon get a reward?
Because this reward is useless to you, Paimon. But I'll treat you to a traditional Monstad delicacy, sticky honey roast.
Sticky honey roast!
Alright, so sticky honey roast, Mondstad's very own delicacy, and a real treat to my stomach. You'll need this chunker right here. Okay, a third of this, some carrots, green onions, some rosemary. God damn it, camera, focus! And some onions. Start by peeling the carrots. If you've seen some of my videos before, you'll know I love a good mise en place before cooking everything. So once they're peeled off, start chopping them off into like small round pieces. Oh, and if you're like this guy, I guess just take a bite of it. On to dicing some onions. They say not cutting the edge of the onion or chilling it beforehand prevents it from releasing its cells. I didn't listen. Now chop some green onions. At least this won't make you cry. Mise en place is basically done. Now let's get to chunker. As I mentioned earlier, you want like a third of this big boy. Keep the rest in the freezer for another time. Time to spice it up. We're using some salt, paprika, cayenne pepper, and some grounded pepper. Put it all in one bowl and mix it together. Now rub it all on chunker. Caress it well, both ways, cause he's been a good boy. This is mostly optional, but I wanted my roast to be quite round for aesthetic purposes, so I tied it up with some butcher's twine. We now need to give it a good sear. So bring out some oil. In our case, we use sesame oil, but you can use whatever. As you can see, our pan was a bit small for this, so take a smaller portion or a bigger pan. In the meantime, prepare a tray and pour some water in it. This will keep our meat really juicy when it's out of the oven. Could have made a better crust, but that's good enough. Now that our oven has reached about 400 in Fahrenheit, put the roast for about 30 minutes, maybe 40. Now, prepare the rest. We got some bacon. It's not really part of the recipe, but who says no to bacon? Use the remaining fat and oil from the roast and cook your bacon. We made a lot, and it isn't all going to be used, so munchies on the side. We now want to soften our carrots, so simply cook it in the same pan. It will soften and absorb all the flavors inside. While we're at it, cook your onions as well till they're golden brown. With that done, let's get to our sauce. We are using all of these. First, we're making the honey coat for our roast, so put some honey, some soy sauce, brown sugar, and maple syrup. Just let it simmer a bit while mixing it from time to time. Next is our red wine reduction. Add in some butter, soy sauce, and some sweet sake. Put a bit more sake than I did. Anyways, bring it to a boil. Our roast is ready. Our roast is ready. Time to coat it with our honey mix. If you have a cooking brush, good for you. Otherwise, I suggest using a teaspoon and drizzle the mix over it. Next, we're using what's in the tray for our gravy. So strain it so there's no chunks remaining. We're adding some all-purpose flour to thicken our gravy. Try to mix it in bit by bit, otherwise you'll get some chunk of flour, just like me. Bring the gravy to a boil, and when it's done, we're mixing it with our red wine reduction, so strain it once more. Simply mix it well, and our sauce is done. Now, on to the preparations. Put your carrots first, the sauce goes next, put your beautiful roast on top. Finally, decorate it with some green onions, bacon, and some rosemary. And there you go. With a custom touch, Mondstad's Delicacy Sticky Honey Roast.